AI agent can cut your contract review time in half. Set the same agent up wrong and it will miss a bad clause and push it straight into signed contract before anyone reads it. The entire difference between those two outcomes comes down to how you set it up, and most teams get it wrong. Now, I've spent the last few years building AI agents for enterprise legal teams, so I've seen firsthand how much time they save once they're set up right and how much damage they do when they're not. With that said, today I'm going to explain everything you need to know about AI agents for legal teams and 4 simple steps to set one up the right way, so your team can review contracts in a fraction of the time without bad clauses ever making it into what you sign. Let's get into it. Alright, first I want to get clear on what an AI agent actually is, because a lot of teams have only ever used a chatbot. A chatbot answers one question at a time and then waits for you to ask the next one. An agent can actually do every step of a specific job by itself. So the first job agents can take on is contract review, which is the slowest and most repetitive work a legal team has. The agent checks each contract against your rules, identifies the clauses that violate them, and drafts the red lines for a lawyer to approve. To make it concrete why this is so valuable, one of our clients, a Swiss industrial company that's been around for over 150 years, used this agent to reduce a 100-page contract review from 90 minutes to 30. The second job agents handle is building the playbook itself, which used to be a month-long project. Playbook is your team's rulebook for contracts. What terms you'll accept, what you'll agree to if the other side asks for changes, and when something needs a senior lawyer's review. Building one used to mean going through hundreds of old contracts and writing out every rule yourself. So many teams either never finished it or let it fall out of date. Now, an agent can build that whole playbook for you in few hours, reading through your old contracts, working out the positions you'd already take, and turning them into checks it runs on every new contract. The third job is to let an agent handle the initial review for the rest of the company. So legal isn't the only team that can get a contract checked. Once your playbook is built, someone in sales or procurement can run a standard contract through the agent themselves and get an answer in minutes, while legal keeps the final say on anything the playbook doesn't cover. One of our clients is a very good example again, because their legal team of 9 people was handling more than 10,000 contracts a year, which no team can do by reading every single one. So they let an agent handle the standard reviews for their business units, and the legal team stopped being the team everyone was waiting on. Now, everything I just showed you is what an agent looks like when they work, but plenty of these projects never make it that far. In fact, Gartner expects more than 40% of all agentic AI projects to be cancelled by the end of 2027. So before you bring one onto your team, you need to know the 3 ways an agent can backfire so you can avoid them. The first way agents go wrong is that an agent acts on its own. So a mistake can run through your whole process before anyone notices. With the chatbots that a lot of you guys might be familiar with, a bad answer is just one suggestion on your screen that you can read and then ignore. With an agent, that same bad call doesn't stop there. It redlines the clause, drafts a reply to the other party, and updates your system before anyone sees it. So without a playbook that tells it what your company accepts, the agent makes those wrong calls on its own across every contract you run through it. The second way agents go wrong is when you have to defend the decision the agent made on its own. When AI only answers a question, you can review that answer yourself before you ever use it. But when an agent makes the actual edit, you have to explain that decision later to a partner, a client, or a regulator. You can't just blame the AI. Plus, most of these tools won't show you how they reach the answer, so you're left with the result you simply can check. And that turns into a big problem as soon as someone challenges it. The third and final thing I want to mention about agents is where your data actually goes. Because a chatbot only sees the single document you paste in, but an agent reads through thousands of contracts full of names, signatures, and personal data. So where that data gets processed matters far more. And if it's going to a general AI tool hosted outside Europe, you can be looking at a GDPR violation. The penalty there runs up to 4% of global turnover or 20 million euros, whichever is higher. Now, let me be clear. None of this should scare you away from using agents, as long as you understand what they can do. So once you know exactly how agents fail, setting them up the right way is actually pretty easy. With that said, let me show you the 4 simple steps to do this. Step 1. Build your playbook before you automate anything. The agent is only ever as good as the playbook behind it, because the playbook spells out which terms your company will accept. Without one, the agent has nothing to check against, so it makes quick calls that don't align with your standards. One of our clients had a procurement playbook that his team thought would take 2 months to build, and he finished it in a single morning with our contract playbook creator. Step 2. Demand to see how the agent thinks and to correct it before it goes live. Remember, the second way these go wrong, you end up having to defend a decision the agent made on its own, with no way to show how it got there. This step is how you stay ahead of that. The way we handle this at Legartis is called user tuning. Before the agent ever touches a live contract, it works through a batch of your own contracts and shows you exactly how it interpreted each rule, what it thinks your standard actually means. You see where it understood you and you correct where it didn't. That's the part that really matters. You're not trusting a number. You're calibrating the agent to how your team actually thinks. Most legal AI hands you an answer and asks you to trust the engine. We let you open the hood. And yes, we put a number on it too. Every clause gets a reliability score, but the number is the receipt, not the point. The point is that you saw how it got there and signed off on it. Step 3. Keep your lawyers focused on the exceptions. Once the agent handles the routine contracts, your lawyers only get involved in the more difficult ones. So instead of reviewing the same NDA for the 100th time, they spend their time on the deals that carry the most risk. Step 4. Start small, because when you try to do everything at once, you overwhelm your team and the whole project gets dropped. Pick one high-volume contract type, like NDAs, data processing agreements, or software agreement, and get the agent working well there, and only then move to the next type. If you're in Europe, make sure whatever you use keeps your data on European servers, because that's what keeps you on the right side of GDPR. At Legartis, that's exactly what we've built toward: the contract playbook creator, user tuning, and hosting in Switzerland and across Europe. That way, your team gets the speed of an agent and you stay in control every decision it makes. So if your team is starting to use AI agents for contract work and you want to run them the right way without the failures I talked about in this video, click the first link in the description to book a demo with Legartis. On the call, we'll show you how the platform works with your own contracts and map out exactly what your team's onboarding would look like. So again, you can book that demo by clicking the first link below this video. And if you want to know exactly how AI is changing the legal industry right now, check out this video next.